We see all kinds of partnerships all across crypto, and it's to the point where sometimes you go to a website and you see more information about collaborations than anything else. Even wallet integrations or block explorer integrations are listed as partnerships. Like, come on, guys, can it get any weaker in Web3? This is not economic alignment. Remember that buzzword? If you were in Cosmos, you definitely remember that one. Well, Cosmos is the original ecosystem of interoperability, and you would expect to see lots of partnerships here. But that's really not the case. Most of the projects in Cosmos are actually competitors. They just don't realize it, or at least they act like they don't realize it. Remember those token swaps that were supposed to bring economic alignment, meaningful collabs? They did absolutely nothing. And I predicted this many, many times. Well, how can two projects actually align themselves with each other in a way that's beneficial to both? And where are all the synergies that we should be seeing in a space that desperately needs meaningful collaborations? That's what this video is going to be about. Welcome, everybody. Joe here. This is the Dead Cat Crypto channel where the focus is on applications, users, and actual use cases that make sense. Um, Crypto tokens, yeah, we talk about them, but this is mainly a research and commentary channel. If you like that kind of content, subscribe down below. Happy to have you. This video is going to be about Cosmos, about Atom, and more specifically about Elys Network, which works out good because I owe those guys a video. Appreciate you guys being patient with me, but it's worth talking about Elys Network. It's worth talking about Cosmos and alignment or collaboration. All right. And for those of you who don't know what Elys Network is, let me give you a quick 1 minute introduction. We'll talk about their token, and then we'll talk about how they are actually aligned and how they're actually situated in the Cosmos ecosystem. And then, of course, we'll get into some other features that you, as maybe a degen, might be interested in. But first, let's introduce Elys. It is a consumer chain of Cosmos. In other words, it uses the Cosmos Hub, which is secured by the Atom token, for its security. It borrows some of the validators. And the purpose of this is not only security, it cuts a lot of costs that are associated with running a full on blockchain for something that's brand new and doesn't bring in a lot of revenue. Um, Elys has their own token, as we'll see, but they are what's called a partial set security chain. They don't use the whole Atom validator set, they just use a few. And this actually gives them a pretty decent alignment with the Cosmos Hub. I did a video a long time ago about what it means to be aligned with Cosmos as a consumer chain, and we'll get into some of those ways. But first, let's look at their token, which is kind of unique, especially in the Cosmos land. Here's the tokenomics page in their documents. I'll link this down below if you're interested. Make that a little bigger for you. Can we get it? There we go. So we're going to talk a little bit about the token. It's pretty interesting. Yes, it's a governance token, just like other L1 tokens in proof of stake world, where you stake it, you vote in governance. If you're a whale, this is probably somewhat valuable if you're super bullish on a chain. But if you're not a whale, maybe you don't feel like governance does much, and I certainly don't think it does much. But this this token also has a revenue sharing mechanism, which a lot of tokens should have, and they just don't. It would get me to stake more tokens, I'll tell you that. But long story short, 25% of platform activity is paid to the stakers in not the L1 token, but USDC. That's right. You get paid in stable coins for buying the Ellis token and staking it. So economic alignment with the stakers, I see that. And that's not the point of the video, but to me, that's a real incentive for staking a token. Otherwise, people are farming the L1 token if you're paying out in kind. I like this. That's one of the things that got my attention. Number two, there's this other token called Eden, and I would call this a compounding token, which is used as a multiplier. It increases rewards for people who can kind of delay gratification before they cash in. It looks like, and the Ellis token also is involved in special perks on the platform. They have a tier system with different benefits for holders. But here in the docs, they explain the Eden and the Eden Boost. If you're interested in multipliers, their docs are quite good. Again, this will be linked down below. And the token just launched. It's going through that wonderful price discovery, but yeah, it's not even 4 months old. Is it worth even talking about price? Market cap probably more interesting, sitting at a $7 million market cap, 34 million FDV. And again, if you go through those docs, you'll see what the vesting schedules look like, what the emission schedule looks like to value it yourself. So the point of this video is to talk about alignment and, all across crypto. You go to a website, like I said in the introduction, and you see 40 logos of other projects on the website, and you're like, oh, wow, they must have a lot of good partnerships. And then you look and nobody's using the platform. The token's down 99% in 2 years. It's like, what's the point of all these partnerships? Is there a way to get an actual value add partnership? And I think there are lots of untapped natural partnerships all across crypto. One of the things they do, I already mentioned 25% to the stakers of their own token. They send 15% of protocol retained revenue to the Atom validators who are validating Elys. Remember, Elys is sharing security with the Cosmos Hub. They use some of their validators. Well, 15% of revenue goes back to those specific validators. Then we've got 15% of the revenue going to a buy Atom program and dropping the Atom into the treasury. So let me say that again. 15%, another 15% of protocol retained revenue is used to buy Atom and put it in the Elys treasury. Remember, proof of stake networks are giant DAOs. They almost all have treasuries, but usually the treasury is composed of only their own token that they can mint at will, right? Here's an attempt to not only diversify the treasury, but get what's I would consider like a blue chip asset within the ecosystem into their treasury. Now you have Elys Network that is aligned with Atom, buying the Atom token. This is a lot different than tokens that are obtained for free. This is why I don't like token swaps. That doesn't put any buying on the tokens involved. It's kind of like a vanity partnership where it's like, oh, you have some of our token in your treasury, we have your token in our treasury, we're diversified, we're aligned. No, what alignment looks like is some type of buying of the token, or buying and burning of the token would even be better for me. But now Elys has Atom in their treasury, so they have options now where they can maybe incentivize different actions using Atom. Maybe some people would rather work for Atom than for Elys or that other Eden token. So diversifying the treasury using revenue, that's the way to go. Now, a while back, I mentioned I did a video on alignment, and I said that the best way to align with Atom was to pay the validators and the stakers in a stable coin, right? So they're doing that, right? They're doing that for their own stakers. And then I said the next best way would be to buy the Atom token and burn it, or buy the Atom token and put it in a treasury using revenue. They're doing that. I made that video during a time where we were being promised all these wonderful things about the Cosmos Hub, and it didn't quite materialize, but Elys is doing it. And I wish more projects would be doing this, whether that be Stride, whether that be Knowable, whether that be other chains, maybe like Neutron, who has since moved on and left the shared security model. But alignment has to do with adding value to tokens, not just having communities join each other's discords and then swapping tokens to the treasury. I don't think that's as meaningful as what's going on here. And let me finish up with some other features. Now, they have IBC Eureka enabled, which is, I think, the biggest step towards abstracting away all the complicated interoperability bridging stuff we have going on in crypto right now. And on the platform, they have wrapped Bitcoin, ETH, Paxos, assets. Wrapped Bitcoin is their largest liquidity pool. They've got almost a million TVL just in that pool. Not bad for a new protocol. Perps are coming. They told me, watch out for announcements. I'm going to link this announcement down below where you can be recruited as a trader, try it out, be one of the first ones to try it out. I'm not that degen yet, but maybe I'll try out. I play with perps a little bit. You guys, if you're in my Telegram, you've seen my trades. Not that great. If there is product market fit for anything in crypto, I say gambling is it. Perps is like sophisticated gambling, right? So it attracts the degens and probably the whales, the sharps, whatever you want to call them. But yeah, that's happening soon. Make sure you check this out if you're interested at all in perps. So that's it. Quick rundown of economic alignment related to Cosmos. Kind of mixed feelings on this one. I thought I would see more by now. We were promised all these different things, only to hear, not too long ago that shared security is no longer going to be pursued. We saw Neutron kind of go away, and I don't know what's happening with Stride. They might get outcompeted by Drop on Neutron. We got Elys. Elys is following through on the dream that everyone was sold. Maybe they'll eventually leave and become their own chain, but when you're buying and holding a token, you're taking a bet on that with revenue that you could be doing something else with. So even if the shared security model goes away and they have to, spin up their own chain, they are going to be aligned with Atom simply because they have a vested interest in that token succeeding. It's in their treasury. It's in my portfolio. Definitely like checking out new apps. Elys, you guys are brand new, but good luck.